Have you ever looked around your home and thought, how did I become the only one holding everything together? The laundry's piling up, the sink's full of dishes, and the little ones, maybe your grandkids or even late-in-life kids, are tugging at your sleeve, needing snacks, stories, and all your energy. And yet, there's no one else to tag in. No spouse nearby. No family member swinging by to lend a hand. Just you. Now, if that's how your day feels, I want you to know, you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not powerless. Parenting without help, especially later in life, isn't easy. But it is possible to do it with more peace, more confidence, and yes, a whole lot less stress. Maybe you didn't plan on raising kids at this age. Maybe life took a few unexpected turns. But here you are, showing up every day with love, commitment, and more strength than you probably give yourself credit for. Today, we're going to talk about some life-saving hacks, 7 of them, to be exact, that can make solo parenting a whole lot easier, even if you don't have help at home. These tips aren't about doing more. They're about making what you already do work better. Because you don't need to be supermom or superdad to be successful. You just need the right tools, a bit of planning, and a few clever shortcuts that keep the chaos in check. Let's begin with something simple but powerful, routines. I know, it's not the most glamorous word. But let me ask you this, have you ever noticed how much smoother your mornings go when there's a rhythm to them? When you and the kids know what's coming next, there's less whining, less confusion, and a whole lot more calm. Routines are like invisible helpers. They do the heavy lifting for you. If the kids know that breakfast always comes right after brushing their teeth, you don't have to remind them every morning. If story time always happens before bed, bedtime becomes less of a battle. And when you're parenting on your own, you need all the little wins you can get. Start by picking just one part of the day that tends to be the most hectic, maybe mornings, maybe bedtime, and build a predictable pattern around it. You don't need to map out every minute. Just aim for consistency. And remember, it's okay if things aren't perfect. Routines don't need to be rigid, they just need to make your life easier. Now, speaking of making life easier, let's talk about something many people overlook, prepping once, using often. That's right, I'm talking about batch tasks. And this little shift in how you approach daily chores can free up hours of your week. Let's take meals, for example. Cooking every single night can feel like running a mini restaurant. And who has the time, or energy, for that? Instead, pick 1 or 2 days a week to cook in bulk. Make a big pot of soup, a tray of pasta bake, or a bunch of sandwiches you can freeze. Even prepping snacks, like washing fruit, slicing veggies, or portioning out crackers, can cut your daily stress in half. The best part? Older kids can help. Even toddlers can put sliced apples into containers or tear up lettuce for a salad. It's not about getting everything perfect, it's about making life manageable and teaching your little ones to be part of the process, too. And if standing in the kitchen for long stretches tires you out, do what I like to call stool cooking. Sit down at the counter or bring a chair close to the stove. There's no rule that says you have to stand to stir a pot or chop vegetables. You deserve to feel good in your body while you care for your family. Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about energy. Because let's be honest, parenting is exhausting at any age, but after 60? Some days it can feel like you're running on fumes by 10 a.m. And when there's no one to pass the baton to, what then? That's why it's so important to protect your energy like it's gold. One way to do that is through what I like to call strategic resting. This doesn't mean lying down for an hour in the middle of the day, though if you can swing that, more power to you. No, I'm talking about micro breaks. 2 minutes sitting on the porch with your eyes closed. 5 minutes breathing deeply while the kids color. Standing in the sunshine with your coffee before starting the dishes. These tiny moments are more than just pauses. They're resets. They calm your nervous system, give your muscles a break, and let your mind catch up to your body. And here's something you might not hear often, you deserve those breaks. Not because you've earned them, not because you've finished your list, but because you are a human being doing something extraordinary, raising children, solo, in your golden years. Even if your day feels packed, I promise, these micro moments are there if you look for them. Pair them with something you already do, like resting your feet while dinner bakes, or sitting down for a few deep breaths when you finish folding laundry. You're not being lazy. You're being smart. You're pacing yourself for the long game. So now, we've covered the power of routines, the magic of batch tasks, and the necessity of strategic resting. These are small shifts, but when you're parenting solo, they add up. They give you breathing room. They bring a little more ease into a life that probably feels way too full. Let's keep that momentum going. Because there's still more we can do to make solo parenting manageable, even joyful. Now that we've found our rhythm with routines, batch tasks, and micro breaks, let's turn our attention to something that's just as important, but often forgotten when life gets overwhelming: asking for help, even when there's no one physically around. That might sound strange, right? If you're parenting solo, and you don't have someone to swing by and babysit or help with the dishes, what does asking for help even look like? But here's the thing: help doesn't always come in the form of a person walking through your front door. Sometimes, help is a tool. Sometimes it's a system. And sometimes, it's just permission to do things differently. Let me tell you about a woman I met. Her name's Marla, and she's 68 years old. She's raising her grandson full-time and told me, "I used to think I had to do everything the way I did when I was 30. But honey, I'm not 30 anymore, and I've stopped pretending I am." That moment of acceptance? That was her first real step toward finding freedom. One of the best tools she added to her life? A digital calendar. Nothing fancy, just a simple app on her phone that helped her stop holding every appointment, every school reminder, and every grocery list in her head. That's the kind of help we're talking about. Smart help. So if your brain is feeling foggy or your memory's not as sharp as it used to be, don't push yourself harder. Get the right tool to carry some of that mental load. Whether it's a calendar, a meal planner, or even a reminder app that nudges you to take your medication, these tools are like a second pair of hands when you don't have a second pair nearby. And hey, if technology makes you nervous, there's no shame in going old school. A big whiteboard on the fridge, a checklist on the counter, or a sticky note taped to the bathroom mirror can be just as powerful. It's not about how you do it, it's about making your day easier. Now, let's talk about connection. Because one of the hardest parts of solo parenting at this stage in life is the isolation. It's not just that you don't have help at home, it's that it can feel like the world outside your door doesn't quite understand what you're going through. But I promise you this, there are others like you. And you don't have to carry this alone, even if you're physically on your own. Start small. Look for local parent groups, community centers, or even online forums where other older caregivers or solo parents gather. You'd be surprised how many people are walking a path that looks a whole lot like yours. Sometimes just hearing someone say, "Me too," can lift 10 pounds off your shoulders. And if getting out of the house feels tough, don't overlook the power of the internet. There are virtual meetups, Facebook groups, even Zoom gatherings specifically for grandparents raising kids or older solo parents who just need to talk, laugh, or share tips. Don't underestimate how deeply a single supportive conversation can refill your emotional cup. I know that for some of us, reaching out can feel uncomfortable. Maybe you've spent most of your life being the one others leaned on. Maybe asking for support feels like weakness. But I want to gently remind you, it's not weakness. It's wisdom. We were never meant to live, or parent, in isolation. And there's something else I want to mention here, something that many older parents tend to skip over: taking care of your own body. When you're constantly moving from chore to chore, child to child, it's easy to ignore the aches and pains or push through the fatigue. But your body is your greatest parenting tool, and it needs attention too. Let's think of this not as exercise in the traditional sense, but as daily movement with purpose. That might mean stretching in the morning before you even leave the bed. Or walking up and down the hallway while your child watches a cartoon. Or putting on music and dancing around the kitchen while you cook. It doesn't have to be a big commitment. It just needs to be consistent. Because when your joints move, your mood lifts. When your blood flows, your energy rises. And when your muscles stay active, you're more likely to keep up with the little ones and avoid those stubborn injuries that seem to sneak up faster than they used to. Take a moment and check in with your body. Are your shoulders tight? Is your back aching? Give yourself permission to slow down for 10 minutes and stretch. Put your feet up. Do a gentle seated yoga pose. This is your fuel. And when you refuel regularly, everything else becomes easier, your patience grows, your strength builds, and your days feel a little lighter. So far, we've leaned into smarter routines, smarter prep, smarter rest, and smarter connections, and we've begun to treat our bodies with the care they truly deserve. It's a powerful shift, isn't it? You start to realize that even without help at home, you're not powerless. You're not stuck. You're adapting. You're learning how to let life support you while you support the ones you love. And that's not just survival. That's strength in motion. Let's keep going with that strength, because the truth is, you're already doing more than most people could imagine. And yet, even the strongest among us need one more thing to truly thrive: simplicity. Yes, simplicity. And I'm not talking about living in a tiny house or cutting your wardrobe in half. I'm talking about making your daily life simpler, on purpose. When you're parenting alone, and especially if you're doing it later in life, the fewer decisions you have to make each day, the more energy you have for the things that truly matter. Think about how many choices you make before noon. What to cook? What to wear? What time to leave? What's for lunch? Where are the shoes? Did you sign the school form? It's constant. And that constant decision-making? It's draining, even if you don't notice it right away. So, here's one of the best hacks out there: remove the small decisions before they even come up. One simple way to do this? Create defaults for parts of your day. Have 3 go-to outfits that are comfortable, clean, and ready. Make Monday pasta night, Tuesday sandwich night, and so on. Keep breakfast the same most days. These small choices take a surprising amount off your plate, freeing up mental space for what really needs your attention, like staying calm during a toddler meltdown or remembering your own doctor's appointment. Another smart trick? Designate zones in your home for specific tasks. One bin for homework, one spot for shoes, one drawer for all the morning supplies like brushes, toothpaste, and socks. It might seem small, but over time, these tiny systems save you hours of frustration. And if you're thinking, that sounds like something I should have done years ago, stop right there. It's never too late to simplify. In fact, doing it now is often more meaningful, because your time and energy are more valuable than ever. There's one final piece to this puzzle, though, and it's the one that brings everything together: your mindset. Because let's be honest, you can have the routines, the tools, the simplified schedule, but if you're constantly telling yourself, "I'm failing, I can't keep up," or "I'm too old for this," then even the best systems won't carry you very far. Your mindset matters more than any chore chart ever will. And here's the truth I want you to hear, deep in your bones: you are doing enough. More than enough. You are showing up every day for a job that's demanding, messy, unpredictable, and you're doing it without the support most people take for granted. So give yourself grace. When the dishes pile up, when the house looks like a tornado passed through, when the kids are wild and dinner is crackers and peanut butter, that doesn't mean you're failing. That means you're human. Try replacing those inner criticisms with gentler words. Instead of, "I didn't get anything done today," say, "Today, I kept my child safe and loved." Instead of, "I can't keep up," say, "I'm learning how to do things differently, one step at a time." This shift in thinking is powerful because it changes the energy you bring into your day. And when your energy shifts, your kids feel it too. They don't need a perfect parent, they need a present one. And you, just as you are, have everything they need most. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're adjusting, surviving, thriving, and that's something to be proud of. And while we're here, let me just remind you, it's okay to laugh through the chaos. It's okay to turn up the music, let the dishes wait, and dance in the living room like nobody's watching. Sometimes joy is a form of rebellion. A way of saying, I might be tired, but I'm still here. I'm still me. You're not defined by the help you have or don't have. You're defined by how deeply you love, how fiercely you show up, and how creatively you make life work, even when the odds aren't in your favor. So, let's take a deep breath together. Inhale strength. Exhale doubt. You've made it this far, and that's no small thing. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this: parenting solo isn't about doing it all. It's about finding the ways that let you keep going with peace, purpose, and pride. The little habits, the smart choices, the moments of rest and laughter, all of these are your superpowers. You've got what it takes. You already do. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these ideas in your own life? Or do you have a hack that saved your sanity as a solo parent? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. And if this video helped you even just a little, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more support and inspiration just like this. We're in this together. And remember, just because you're doing it alone, doesn't mean you're on your own. Here's to living your best life, one smart step at a time.